1, 2, 1, 2. Hey everyone, thank you for coming here. You know, I've been to the summit for 3 years now. The first year I came here, I was in undercover. I wore jeans, t-shirt, and I came here last minute, bought a ticket, very expensive one, and I was like, I'm gonna come here to see if I'm crazy. And I remember I came here, listened to all of the talk from a bunch of faces that are here again, and I came back home to Quebec, and I was like, wow, it's amazing, what a space to be, the energy, everybody was talking to me. I remember I went to talk to Ron Morrow from Bank of Canada, and I was like, this guy is never gonna talk to me, I'm a nobody, you know? And he took the time, we had a super clean discussion for 15 minutes. I was blown away by the openness of this space. And I told myself, one day I'm gonna talk on that stage. And last year we came with our booth. Thank you, thank you. So last year we came here with a booth and we said we're going to show to people what we want to do. We're going to see how the markets react. Maybe they're going to think we're crazy again, which is a good sign in my opinion. And it was super good. We had a good reception from FEMA Canada, a lot of fun. And I said next year we're definitely going to talk. So who am I? So my name is Charles-André Bergeron. I'm the founder of EZO. EZO stands for Easy Operation. I got to give credit to one of my advisors for that one, though, who plugged that in the meeting. I was like, wow, this is good. I'm going to take this. So I'm 29 years old. I come from an entrepreneur background. My dad, every time you take a flight to Europe and you scan your luggage, he did a bunch of software for a firearm and liquid explosives. And I remember I was like 12 years old, and I was seeing my dad being stressed at night, listening to the TV. And I was like, Dad, why are you stressed? He said, I have a board meeting tomorrow. What's a board meeting? Oh, we have to present cash flow, blah, blah, blah. And I was like absorbing, you know, all of that knowledge very early on. And I knew that one day this was going to be my path. So in 2017, I quit school and I said, let me do something. And back then, for some unknown reason, I decided to do Bitcoin mining. As you may see, I have a Bitcoin tattoo on my arm that I got 8 years ago. I should have bought Bitcoin more when I put this on, but back in the day, that was different. So you can see the picture, picture in front of the slide. It was my first mine. We did a lot, scaled that, learned how to raise capital, do cash flow, manage expectation. And it failed because multiple reasons, but I learned stuff. Then I decided to start a new business with my key partner, the amazing genius that you see here, Nick Tremblay. And we were doing access control, so card to go in building, bus, transit, transport, developing an algorithm, especially for offline technology, which is going to come back later on. So offline technology challenge, how do you teach a system that you exist without talking to him? Very interesting for payment in offline environment. This one failed too because of COVID and supply chain things. But every time, again, we learn. Now we learn how to manage grants. We learn how to manage market study. We went on the field. We went into 500 million building in Quebec, investigated them, bunch of story. And after COVID, we said, Bitcoin was fun, crypto was cool. We love finance, and for some unknown reason, we never remember why, but we decided to dig back into payments. How does payment work? How is this? In fact, the main reason was who are paying the reward point on our credit card? And I was kind of scandalized when I realized it was the merchant and everything. And we said, maybe we could work inside of this and change stuff. So today's topic, I'm going to bring you into our life, our journey, what we've been accomplishing so far. Because we've traveled all around the world as a Canadian company, and we have so many stuff to share. Okay, so EZO origin. So, you know, through all my journey, I was always a money man. And by that, I mean I was always moving money left and right, arbitrage, investment, crypto. And right now on my phone, I have 15 apps because our apps is not completed yet. And moving money from A to B was always slow, always a pain, bad UX, bad UI, too much fee. And if I'm having trouble with them, then the normal person is having trouble. So at some point I said, especially after getting debanked by one bank that I won't name because I was doing crypto, I said, you know what, I'm going to redo it myself, how I see it, how finance should be done, a true super app where everything is centralized. So that's what we were cooking, and at first we were really focusing on the Canadian market. Back then I thought that what we had here was the same thing for all around the world. Everybody is bank, everybody managed their finance for the top of their phone, etc. So late 2022, I meet a guy called Keleti Touré in Montreal. And he's from Guinea. So Guinea is a smaller country on the Western Hemisphere in Africa. And he tells me, I start talking what we do, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you know what? It's very interesting because in Guinea, everybody has a phone, but nobody's bank. And when he said that to me, it really stuck to me because, you know, in crypto, that's a big narrative, help people get banked, blah, 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 which I don't really agree on. But he was telling me, I'm from Guinea, last week I had a problem, and I was like, wow, if you have a phone like me, and people have a phone like me over there, how can that be the case? Like I manage my finance from my, in fact, I do my finance way more on my phone than anything else, and I'm pretty sure that's the case for everybody here. So I was like, why is that the case? And I knew that we had built the app to be very, very, very easy to go in. So I was like, maybe we should go there and see it. And you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you get that tingling feeling that maybe you're getting something right. Maybe you're on the right path. And I said, you know what? We're going to race around. We're going to go in Africa. That's it. That's all. So we decided to do a first trip in Africa. And how we ended up in Tunisia is when I met one of my closest friend and now advisor, Christian Levesque, who's an ex-political member of the National Assembly in Quebec. And he was coming in Quebec for the ex-parliamentary stuff. I think I'm right. Yes, I'm right. And I had a connection that could introduce me to him. And Christian is somebody that has a lot of background. He presided and created EZO norm for anti-corruption, money laundering. So I was like, okay, that can be nice if you're doing financial stuff, plus you're doing crypto, maybe bringing a guy like this with you could be interesting. So I go talk with him. At first, he thought I was completely crazy. I remember that one. And then after the game, he said, okay, you know what? Maybe we can do a trip. So we prepare a first trip in Africa. We go to Africa. We meet with the banks. We meet with the university. We meet with the government. Very interesting trip. And I remember landing on the plane. I was looking outside, first time seeing Africa. And I was praying in my heart. I was like, please let it be how I think it is. Please let it be that bad in a way. Because I knew that if it was the case, we had something very strong. It took me 15 minutes, and I was convinced that we were on the right track. So when we went back the first time, I was like, okay, guys, what we have taken, all the data we've collected is very good, but we should go another time just to make sure and go more on the field, less bureaucracy in a way, go more on the field. So we go back a second time. We meet with the central banks. We were meeting with one of the bank, and the bank director says, you know what? Let me take my phone. I'm like, okay. Take the phone, he calls, speaks in Arabic, so I don't understand a word. And he says, we're going to the central banks in 15 minutes, get ready. I was like, okay, cool, nice, let's go. And that was one of the best meetings that I had in my life. Very nice. We met again with a lot of university. I will come back to that point, which is very important on the line. We talked to the media. Wow, amazing trip. At that point, when we come back, I'm convinced we can take what we created there, change the world over there. But we said, you know what? We said, let's do a third trip. But now let's go into the more, let's say, the rock and roll Africa, like a really emerging nation developing. So we decided to go with Keleti back in Guinea. And you see the left picture with a student raising their head. Okay, this is in a private university in Guinea. This is when I said, how many people in the room have a phone? Of course, everybody raised their hand. And the second one is when I said, how many people in the room have bank account? And these are financial students, by the way, financial students. And the picture on the bottom right, well, this is the bank in Guinea. And I am not kidding. And I've went on the field to experience this myself. And trust me, it can get a bit tricky. And I remember going in these containers and people were looking at me, what are you doing here? And it was pretty good. So we met with the central bank. We met with the student. I really liked, that's one of my favorite pictures from the company, the bottom right. And then we went back to Tunisia for a third time to sign a big deal. So what we observe on the field, you know that in Guinea, for example, 90% plus of people have a smartphone, but only 10% of people are banked. That's not a lot. 80% of the people is going to use, so they don't really, so from their phone, they're going to use what they call orange money, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people know what it is there, which is a form of mobile money. And do you know how much on average people pay as a fee in Guinea? They pay between 5 and 15% to move money, which is insane. Like, why are the poorest people paying the most fee? Makes 0 sense to me. And the big problem over there is that they're going to have cash. They're going to put the cash inside of Orange, move the cash to their friend, and the friend has to physically go somewhere to withdraw it, to spend it, because there is no way to spend it. One of the big slippery slope in Africa is, why would I want a bank card if I cannot spend with it? And then you go talk to the merchant, and the merchant is like, why would I have a terminal? Nobody has card. So you have like this minding of blocking the innovation. And I'm going to tell you a very quick anecdote of a girl I met in Tunisia. And to my girlfriend listening to this, it was just as a market study. And, she told me that she was working at that small cafe and she makes $15 per week. $15 per week. And out of that $15, she loses 7 of it just to go to the bank to withdraw it because she cannot spend it. Even though she has a bank account, she can't spend it. And I was like, damn, if we put our product out, we put something very strong inside of their hand, maybe we can remove that friction, the friction of cash, you know. We heard story of bank who lose $10 to $15 on deposit and withdraw every time somebody goes to the ATM. And think about the friction of everybody going to the bank. They take the car, it's wear on the tire, it's pollution. All that friction that's not invested in the ecosystem is insane. The big lack of digitalization and accessibility is the problem. The lack of finance in the world is purely a human problem, an accessibility problem. It has never been a tech problem. So we created a super app, okay? A super app that covers payment, investment, money transfer, banking, very easy to access for you and me, for the merchant, for the banks. And for one, I have banks in front of me, so I can pitch this. And the way we do this, because, okay, it's super cool to have all of this amazing technology, but like, how do you really convince people to trust you and work with you? Because you know, fintech, most of the time we're seen as disruptor, try to break the system. We try to go against the bank, change the world, blah, blah, blah. And we said, and with my advisor, the people that are around me, we said, let's cook a new approach where we work with them. We're not trying to unbank the bank. We're trying to bank the bank in a way. I want to bring user. I want to bring asset under management for you. So we work with regulators, study, incubator, key influencer, banks, media, etc. We went to it all. And that's what we call the EZO approach. And I want to come back to the student because the key for financial success in developing nation is working with the students. Why? Because the students, first of all, they're totally undeserved as a customer base. If you give them a good product, they're going to be loyal forever. They're going to talk to their parents in a way that you can't. They're going to talk to the network. Because at the end of the day, we're foreigners. So even though we come with all of this, we have to understand and work with the local all the time. And the EZO approach has been pretty successful. And the second thing is what I call the Keynesian power of trust and maple syrup. So why maple syrup is because every time we went to a new meeting, we bring cans and bottle of maple syrup. In Tunisia, people thought it was whiskey, which is really big no-no. So we had a few funny moments. But Canada, for reasons that are still unclear to me, everybody in the world trusts us. When we go over there, people trust us. We get meetings that others won't. We're young. They're like, okay, we can trust these guys. And the big factor behind that is that a lot of people in power and regulatory position now are people who study abroad back in the day when they were young. So they went to Paris, they went to London, New York, and then they come back here. So they want to change. They're super open. And for me, it's really hard because right now we're trying to innovate in Canada. I'm proud to be Canadian. I'm a Quebecer first, but I'm also very proud to be Canadian, you know? And right now, it's hard. The sad reality is that we're really limited in innovation. To test some stuff, I need to get the license. It's going to take 3 years for me to get. I'm not going to wait 3 years. It makes no sense to me to go fly off of the world to go build my stuff. So to everybody in the room, please help us get sandboxes. Help us build our stuff. Like we have so much IP here. And I'm so tired of seeing countries like Brazil and India with UPI PICs getting ahead of us because there's absolutely no reason for that to happen. You know, like we can be the first, and I can make Canada the first. You know, I'm pretty convinced about that. We have the tech, we have the vision, the skill. Like look at all of these amazing people here. And our partner will be the winner. And what I mean by that is that, like right now, we're living very hard time because we're doing crypto, we're doing remittance, bunch of stuff, working in Africa in countries that sometimes people are less maybe comfortable doing that. But we need access to the infrastructure because like if I don't want to go against the system. I want to work with the system. I want to take that old tech stack in a way and build on top of it. Let me do my innovation. Give me access to what I need, and we will build together. And you know, we're young. We're younger than anybody here. But innovation will come from us and you guys working together. And my closing statement is, when was the last time that we really asked ourselves, what are the problems in finance? What are the problems in banking? But not as a bank or fintech or regulator, but as a user. My list is pretty long, and that's why I created my company, and that's why I have a bunch of amazing genius with me together today. But and by the way, fun fact: as of this morning, 8/27, we became cash flow positive. So that's also a very, very, very good thing. But like I said, and I'm going to close with this because the timer is running out, we cannot sit around and let other countries beat us to the race because we have 100% of the card needed to achieve that. And the future of finance, and you see when I wrote this sentence and I said, am I saying the future of finance or the finance of the future? And for me, the future of finance can be built in this room by the people in this very room, and I truly believe it. You know, there's 3 things we do with our money. We make money, spend money, and we invest money. So let's make it easy. Thank you, everyone.